Monroe County, Pennsylvania. Kohberger's own circle of relatives launched the subsequent announcement through his public defender Jason LaBarre, Esquire. On Sunday. First and predominant, we care deeply for the 4 households who misplaced their treasured children. There aren't any phrases which can properly specific the disappointment we feel, and we pray every day for them. We will maintain to allow the criminal manner spread, and as an own circle of relatives we are able to love and help our son and brother. We have completely cooperated with regulation enforcement organizations and tried to searching for the fact and sell his presumption of innocence in place of decide unknown statistics and make misguided assumptions. We recognize privateness on this rely as our own circle of relatives and the household struggling loss can flow ahead through the criminal manner. Bryan Kohberger is ready to seem in courtroom docket on Tuesday, January 3rd, wherein he intends to waive his proper to the extradition listening to, in keeping with his public defender Jason LaBarre, Esquire. LaBarre additionally stated Lada County could be equipped to move Kohberger return to Idaho as quickly as Tuesday nighttime into Wednesday morning. Monroe County. Idaho suspects excessive college pal speaks out. Newswatch 16's Emily Kress spoke to a female who says she is aware of suspected killer Bryan Kohberger personally. Monroe County, Pennsylvania. The arrest of 28-year vintage Bryan Kohberger rocked the nation, charged in reference to the murders of 4 University of Idaho University college students. For human beings like Casey Arntz, the information of the arrest hits near home, together along with her mother calling to interrupt the information. And she stated the character they arrested changed into Bryan Kohberger, and right away I freaked out naturally. I went returned internal paintings and known as 8 of my pals as it changed into terrifying. It changed into a surprise due to the fact there are 7 billion human beings on this world, and I recognize him. I changed into pals with him. It's terrifying, stated Casey Arntz. Arntz lives in Virginia Beach, however grew up with inside the Poconos and attended Pleasant Valley High School. She tells us she had become pals with Kohberger through her more youthful brother at some stage in their time in college. We simply frolicked and talked, and that is what it changed into. It wasn't whatever loopy, it changed into a standard friendship, stated Arntz. Arntz says she hopes his arrest will assist shed extra mild at the case for the sake of the 4 sufferers and their households. I do not need to even reflect on consideration on what came about there. I simply need the households to have clarity. I need them to have solutions to questions they do not have, and that they may not get the one solutions till they listen from him, and the police launch that info. And I need them to have peace after that is all stated and done, stated Arntz. Bryan Kohberger stays locked up on the Monroe County Correctional Facility. Before Kohberger is dispatched to Idaho to stand costs, he's scheduled to have an extradition listening to in Monroe County on January 3rd, wherein the Monroe County leader public defender who can be representing him tells us he's going to waive his proper to that listening to expedite his switch to Idaho. In an announcement to WINUP, the general public defender stated an element that Kohberger must be presumed harmless till validated otherwise, now no longer attempted with inside the courtroom docket of public opinion. Mr. Kohberger is keen to be exonerated of those costs and appears ahead to resolving those subjects as right away as possible. Residents react following arrest of Monroe County guy for University of Idaho killings. Residents in Monroe County say they by no means imagine that the suspect with inside the University of Idaho killings could be observed throughout the United States, not to mention so near home. Monroe County, Pennsylvania. I'm amazed for an hour and a half of Idaho, after which the fellow to emerge is here. With the car, wow, this is proper across the block from me, stated Ginger Hanan, Blakesley. Ginger Hanan of Blakesley changed into bold over to study that the character suspected of murdering 4 University of Idaho college students changed into observed proper with inside the Poconos. Bryan Kohberger changed into arrested earlier than sunrise with inside the Indian Mountain Lake Estates gated network. It's extra than 2,000 miles far from wherein the scholars have been observed murdered on November 13th. Somebody interviewed the girl throughout the street, and I heard them speaking approximately the Idaho murders. And then all of it simply got here collectively step by step as I heard human beings speaking coming down the street. It has been a quite loopy day, stated Lee Fishman, Monroe County. Lee Fishman moved to the Poconos from Philadelphia only a few years ago. Seeing something like this, you simply by no means recognize Indian mountain lakes. I suppose they have got 60 miles of roads in there or something like that, so it is a massive network mobile each person might be anywhere, guy, stated Fishman. We have been all speaking approximately how a number of the human beings I paintings with they simply went to high school with him, they have been at the bus with him, and also you recognize, it is sort of frightening to recognize that my youngsters and I stay proper on this place and that is wherein they observed him, stated Erica Penny, effort. Erica Penny talked to us as she changed into choosing up her daughter. She hopes now that households of the scholars in Idaho can subsequently have closure. I could hate to have that open for the relaxation of my life, and at the least you get something of finalization as to what will happen, stated Penny.